Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Ben Venu's Corner, and this is going to be a post-game wrap-up and pre-game preview, I guess, of sorts. For the next game we have coming up against our Week 13 opponent, you can see, is the Minnesota Vikings. So we'll take a look at them. I'm going to break this up in two episodes. I want to do the recap in this one because I've realized that one runs about half hour, 45 minutes. I don't want to make this go an hour and a half, and then maybe if I break it up in two segments, it can get like half an hour apiece, something like that. It's a work in progress. I'm not sure how this is going to flow or how it works out. We're going to just find out as I go along. So, welcome to the journey with me. What am I going to go over this week? Well, we have a weekly award update. So, somebody on our team won a weekly award. If you watched the last game, you might have an idea who it is, but we'll reveal that in a minute. We're going to go over the season awards because we have 5 games left in the season, so pretty much this is a last effort push by these players to win those awards. So we'll see who's in the running for this team and who might have a chance to take some hardware home, if not a championship, at least a personal award. We're going to do some scouting, which I was trying to do last time I did one of these, but I had a trouble with the video recording, and then I did a save, assuming that it recorded the video, and it didn't. And we'll do some live training, and I already have some upgrades, so I'm assuming after the weekly training I'll have more, so we'll at least do a live upgrade. We'll take a look at the updated standings. There was a lot of fallout after last week. And then some thoughts on how to right the ship after that huge win and the 4-game win streak. Things are looking pretty bleak again. 2 straight losses. This one at home. This game against the Huskies started a 5-game homestand. These next 5 games are all at home, and the last game of the season is away at the Columbus Explorers. So, not a great way to start off the homestand with a close game loss that you could have won had 1 or 2 things gone the right way. So, pardon me, Coach Hennessy is looking at things to maybe tweak what's going on and try to right some wrongs and see if they just can't get it just right. With the roster limitations this team has, it might be a little difficult, but we'll go over some of the ideas he shared with me. And then, in the next episode, we'll take a look at the next opponent and the upcoming schedule for the rest of the season, because it's pretty interesting. So, injury news. We had a couple guys get banged up last episode during the game. Kevin Crockett went down, but he did come back in the game. Aaron Kershaw also went down, our star corner, and he didn't return to the game, so I was worried about that. But as you see, I don't have any injury updates, and he is perfectly fine. So he will be starting our next game, so no worries there. Pardon me again. This allergies are killing me today. So, who won the weekly award? Well, if you've been following the team, you probably had a good idea it was this man right here, Mr. Perry Wood, who had 12 receptions, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns, and this is coming off of last week when he had 10 catches for 150 yards even and 2 touchdowns. That wasn't enough to give him the weekly award, but this week it was. He did everything he possibly could to help his team win, and without him, this would have been a much different ball game. So, congratulations to Perry Wood on his Offensive Player of the Week award for the AFC. You can see some of the other players. I'll let this stay on here so you can see who else is winning Player of the Week awards. Let's see if we had any other during the season, because I played a few games. We picked this up halfway through the season because I didn't realize I was even going to be able to do this. I didn't think my computer could handle it. So let's go back through the weeks and see if we have any other players that have won it. So let me hit the right button there. Z. Nobody for us. Week 10. Oh, there's Dalton Triplett. 22 carries. Yeah, that huge game against the Chicago Bears. I'm sorry. And Julius Lamb. So we had Offensive Player and Defensive Player of the Week for our conference. Dalton Triplett and Julius Lamb. Great week there. And in week 9, nobody for our team. You see Timmy Simmons, the quarterback. His name is coming up for the Saints. They are in first place in their division and in the NFC. They're a very good team this year. There's Tracy Felton in week 8 with 5 tackles, 3 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. That's a good way to get your name in the running for an award for the week. Week 7, Tanner Malone. I called him by the right name. If you've heard me before, I try to call him Tommy all the time. That's not his name. 7 tackles, 3 sacks, and a forced fumble. In week 6, nobody there. 2 Bulldog players. And I'm just leaving the screens on here so you can get a look and see these names. And nobody in week 5. But you see Max Good, the Huskies quarterback, winning an award there. We went up against him in one of our previous episodes. In week 4, nobody for our team. Week 3, Dalton Triplett again had a big game. 186 yards on the ground. 4 catches for 53 more, and a receiving touchdown. In week 2, it was Aaron Kershaw that was his big 3-interception game. He's only had 1 other interception the whole season. He's still tops in the league with interceptions with 4, but he's tied with about 5 other players now. And in week 1, nobody for our side. So there you go with the weekly awards. And now, I haven't done this either. Let's take a look at the season awards. And let's get into where they're located in stats. Let's see who's up for some yearly awards. And you can see for the MVP race in the entire NFL, Landon Boggs, Seth Russell, Richard Smart, Tyler Simmons, I'm sorry, that's his first name, I called him Timmy, Tyler Simons of the Saints, Oliver Slate, Brock Bowen, Damon Winter, Grayson Carter, Houston Schneider, and Cameron Curran. You don't see any Sentinels up there. Bias, maybe? I don't know. Coach of the Year. Guess who? Well, Paul Jones with the runaway team in the NFC, the Saints. And then, Madden is enjoying what Shaq Hennessy is doing with the Sentinels, even though he doesn't have as good of a record as Kitchens and Murphy for the Bulldogs and Explorers, respectively. They think he's done a great job with this team that was 2-14 last year, and I agree with him, in my own biased opinion. But we'll round out the top 10 here. Griffin Murphy, Michael Fortier, Demetrius Turner, Eugene Hoops, Tommy Blazer, Matt Hedrick, and Nathan Cable. And let's go for the conference awards. Alright, Offensive Player of the Year, Richard Smart, Damon Winter, Oliver Slate, Brock Bowen, Grayson Carter, Houston Schneider, Jerron Hepburn, Tobias Underwood, Max Good, and Derek Richardson. Again, no Sentinels. Defensive Player of the Year, however, the breakout star, rookie middle linebacker, London Bates, and his teammate, Tanner Malone. Kendall Burrows, Dean Sanborn, Gerald Lowry, Robert Pickett, Jeremiah Perriman, Terrence King, Antonio Randall of the Huskies, and Cassidy Whitworth. So 2 guys, top 2 places. Offensive Rookie of the Year. We got Sean Newton, Kamal Scott, Tyson Kerr of the Sentinels. And I don't think he's going to be able to get the top spot. If he was starting, perhaps, but he is behind Dalton Triplett, and he's not going to supplant him in the depth chart order unless something happens to Triplett, which I hope it doesn't. And even then, he might be too far behind these top 2 candidates. Julius Buchanan of the Voyagers, Jadon Bigby, Sean Townsell of the Huskies, Parker Sherwood, Titus Hood, Tyson Cone, and Kenneth Woods. Defensive Rookie of the Year, guess who? London Bates. It wasn't really much of a contest there. Devion Newton, Lincoln Billups. We have Vernon Hunt, our right end. Isaac Capers, Samuel Clemens, Deshaun Hickson, Devon Hicks, Nick Bell, and Sheldon Bates, the rookie defensive tackle. Best quarterback: Brock Bowen, Richard Smart, Damon Winter, Houston Schneider, Oliver Slate, Grayson Carter, Julian Peralta, Deshaun Gregory, and way down here at 9th, Kiefer Byrne, and Ronald Jefferson round out the top 10 there. Best running back: Tobias Underwood, Jerron Hepburn, Derek Richardson, Dalton Triplett, Dion Averill, who you know from last episode that we played, Tyrone Washington, Sean Dickerson from the Voyagers episode, David Anthony, Taylor Dunn, and Harvey Dickerson. Best wide receiver. Now, there's some news on this one. We have Keenan Ewing from the Bulldogs, and then Perry Wood from the Sentinels. He was not even on this list a couple of weeks ago. He wasn't in the top 10 of anything. He was way down below the middle of Hacky yards, but going over 300 yards with 4 touchdowns in 2 games will kind of elevate you up some lists. So he's number 2 now for best wide receiver. Arthur Ballard, Vince Cooper, Gilbert Godfrey. What? I don't know. What? I don't know. Affleck. Gilbert Gottfried, Ashley Merle, Jeffrey Cole, Parrish Wynn, Justin Odom, and D'Angelo Griffith. Best offensive lineman: Alex Monroe, Randy Ellis, Matt Clifton, Jordan Burks, Isaac Charles, Josh McNally, Jacoby Torrance, Jordan Fredrickson, Aaron Holiday, and J.J. Monroe. Best defensive line: Kendall Burrows, Antonio Randall, Jeremiah Perriman, Cassidy Whitworth, Lance McCoy, Christopher Morris, Randall Everett, Casey Livingston, James Crothers, and Dion Billups. You notice who you don't see there: Vernon Hunt or Sheldon Bates. Best linebacker, guess who? Tanner Malone. It wasn't London Bates this time. I guess they value Tanner's sacks a little bit more than all the tackles that Bates is getting. So 1 and 2 again. Denario Sweeney, Dean Sanborn, William Stevens, Bronson Fenton, Gerald Lowry, Robert Pickett, Terrence King, and Nazir Owens. For best defensive back, wonder if any of our guys are going to be up there. Aaron Kershaw, surprise, surprise, the man that leads the league in interceptions. Marquand Bowman, Matt Sermons, Antoine Ballard, I can read, Jacoby Spicer, Braden Schofield, Kent Clark, Virgil Hyde, Terrell Buggs, and Rico Whitfield. Best kicker: Raymond Rivera, Hugo Flores, Justin Holt, Bobby Oliver, Alex Warner, and there's Wes McGuire. Even though he's way down in the league standings for accuracy, he's down to about 75% now because he keeps missing for 50-plus yards. Luke Bartram, Denton Holcomb, Brad Haslam, Oliver Slade. And there are our yearly awards races. So we got some guys in the top spots, some guys pushing to get there. So that's really good. Good to know that we have some, especially seeing the rookies getting up there means that we really drafted well. And now we're going to do some scouting, because I didn't get to do it last episode. So what are we looking for? Well, you can see the top positions here. I'm not sure I'm going to do more of these really top tier guys, because I'm hopefully not going to be drafting here. I guess it would be irresponsible not to at least look at some of these other guys, because I'm not sure how this season's. First round talent projection, and he's a 5th round talent. That's not great. I haven't looked at many of these halfbacks just because I usually wait till the combine, but look at this guy, Juwan Costin, inclusive of carrying juke move. And the thing is, I got Dalton Triplett, and then I got Tyson Kirk. I'm not really looking for a halfback, especially not in the first round. I don't need a quarterback, but again, I usually just look at the top talent at every position, and I might as well. Just maybe somebody falls that we didn't expect. All right, so there we go. There's the first round draft. No, actually, check that. Ooh, there we go. All A's across the board late in the first round, but halfback again, man. Terrell Sharp. Okay, he's the last projected draft pick. Ooh, yikes. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm probably not going to look at any more quarterbacks. I don't need a starter. I do need a backup, so maybe if I see something in the combine later in the year that screams at me, I'll take a look there. Halfback, again, until the combine comes around, I'm not really looking at anybody because I'm not going to be taking another running back in the first round. Just not going to happen. Fullback, I generally don't scout unless I can throw things away. I do have a need. There is one fullback here that fits my scheme, and I'm not happy with the current fullback we have. He's too slow, so if I can see in the combine that maybe he's faster, I may take a look at him. Wide receiver, we do need help here. If I can find one in, I don't know if Lindell Stokes will be there when I draft. It's saying he's a first-round talent. Let's take a look. Early first-rounder, so we're not going to be drafting that high unless something crazy happens. So I usually go down for most positions down to the third round. After that, there's an awareness drop built in. And maybe not this episode, but maybe in the next one, I will tell you why I think that. There's somebody that put together a great drafting guide for Madden 20, and I'll link that in the description, and you can take a look at it. It breaks down every position, what your targets are for these ratings, and where you want to see them, and it really gives you a good idea where the talent is and what kind of talent it is. So let's take a look here. Got some 10-point guys. Release bees. We got 15 points here. That gives me an 11, which will be, I think, one of the first stats for an offensive lineman. And yeah, let's just go ahead and even out the points there. So there we do some scouting. So now you get a little bit of, not really exciting, but you get an idea of my approach to some scouting. Let's see. We were going to take a look at training and my theory behind that. Well, for me, the offensive line gets a raw deal here in Madden because they are not part of the dev trait upgrades simulation. So whatever they enter the league in, that's probably where they're going to stay, because I'm not sure, I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure even if they win like Best Offensive Lineman of the Year award, they're on the Super Bowl winning team, they go into the Pro Bowl, I don't think even that helps them. So the only way they're going to progress is the experience they get on the field, and then by making them focus players, and then by focusing them in the practice, because each one of these practices has different skill groups that it targets. So in my opinion, the best way to handle that, since I need help with my offensive line, especially with my younger guys, is to make them focus players, and then target them in the offensive game plan, and I'll show you what that is there. I have only one play. In this offense, I only have one play, and you can see the position groups here, they change. Quarterback, tight end. Wide receiver, tight end. Quarterback, wide receiver. I'm looking for one that targets my quarterback, because I do have a young guy there that's not a focus player, and I want to get him as many points as I can. And the offensive line. And the deep pass, play action power 0 is the only play I have that does that. So it's not a play that I really want to run a whole lot, but I'm going to practice it just for the dev points. And on the defense, I'm going to ignore the secondary because Kershaw is about as good as he's already going to get, and it's going to take a lot of points to get him up any better. And then the second-tier guys after that are all middle-of-the-pack guys that really aren't going to get much better than what they already are. So until I get some new talent in there, I don't really want to focus there. My last draft, I took a rookie middle linebacker, Bates. I have some outside rushers, Tanner Malone, who I didn't think was much of anything, but he's 25, so he's got some progression room. But I also have 2 rookie defensive linemen, in Sheldon Bates and Vernon Hunt, that I want to develop. So in here, I'm going to find a play that focuses on defensive line and linebacker. And you can see these position skill groups here will change as I select different plays. So I'm looking for defensive line, linebacker. There we go. Run, gap, defense. Run, defense, gap play, which is something we really need to actually work on, because our run defense is one of the worst in the game of football, according to these stats. So here we're going to start some training. I'm just going to go ahead, I just send them. I do have some experience sliders that you can find on Operation Sports. I'm not sure which version of them I'm using. We'll just skip through here to save some time. You can see I'm focusing on Kevin Crockett, only because he's a low 70s, even that superstar. So he's my anchor. I need him to progress as well as possible. So now we're going to upgrade some players. Let's see how many we got. Oh, we got a few. Great, there's London Bates. And we need him to practice run stopping. Yeah, that's one of his worst things, and that's what he needs to improve in on the most. So we're going to go run stopping here. And he goes up 1 overall. Wow, look at all those traits at upgrade. 2 awareness, block shedding, which he needs, coverage, which he's already good in, recognition and tackling. So that's good. Let's see what that looks like now. His tackling's up to 87, which is really good. Block shedding, where is that? At 75, so that's what he really needs to work on. So good, he's got what he needed. CJ Radovich, the left tackle. Let's take a look at him. Well, probably need to do, well, a couple of things. He's not agile, and let's take a look at his pass protection. It's 78. He's better, yeah. Trying to look at his run. Yeah, he's a better run blocker. So he's also my best pass protector. So let's upgrade his pass blocking, see what happens. And he gets 3. Strength up, block power, pass block finesse. Okay, so not the pass block rating itself. Sean Stewart. Solid. I'm just going to go with the power rushing for him to get him up to a 70 in his main skill there. Awareness, pursuit, and tackle. So awareness, where is that over here? 77. Pursuit is 70 now, so there you go. And tackle, 83. Shaquem Wagner, the now starting right guard. So nice to see him getting an upgrade already. And he's just balanced overall. So what do I need from him? Probably run blocking. Since he is the right guard, and his pass blocking far outdoes his run. So yeah, run blocking sounds good. And I believe power will do that. We'll do that. And awareness, pass block, run block, and block power. So there we go. That worked out well. 74 at run blocking. And that'll do it for the upgrades. Let's take a look at the standings now. And you can see in our AFC East division, the Explorers lost last week. So they're now 8-3, and that was a chance. Had the Sentinels won, they would be tied for first place in the division right now. And now you can see these last place teams have both gone to 6-5, so they're pushing their way up the ladder. And you can see right here, we're going to play one of them later in the week. In the season, rather. Not in the week. So this game could have some real significance here. And obviously, this one, I mean, if we're tied, we have a tie record. This could be the tiebreaker for the division winner. I mean, we're looking ahead of ourselves right now. We still have to win out and get to that point. So here is the NFL standings. You see the Saints are the best team in the game of football right now. Explorers and Bulldogs are both 8-3 now. We have a lot of company at 7-4. Bisons, Eagles, Miners, Dreadnoughts, Voyagers, and Sentinels. And now the 6-5 teams, the Conquistadors, Giants, Redskins, Bears, Buccaneers, Seahawks, Bulls, Huskies. And these 5 and 6 teams could still get in here. The Cowboys, Vikings, who we play in our next episode. Snowhawks, Cardinals, 49ers, Elks, Celtic Tigers, and the teams have more of an outside shot. The Black Knights, Armadillos, Egyptians, Falcons, Tigers, Crusaders, and the Panthers and Lions are battling it out for who's going to get the first overall pick in the draft. So some ideas to right the ship. We've seen it unfold in front of ourselves, so obviously Shaq Hennessy has a front row seat to what is going on. I had a chance to speak with him, to pick his brain on what he might be thinking. And these are not easy decisions for him to make because of how this team is going and what these players are doing. Let's go to the stats real quick. One idea that he has, because of what we've seen the last couple of games, is to take Perry Wood out of the number one receiver role. Because if you have noticed, Kiefer Byrne is trying to hit him on deep passes an awful lot, and he keeps overthrowing him. Because Perry Wood, despite being 6'4" and a great receiver, the one thing he is not is blazing fast. 91 speed, 90 acceleration. He's not getting deep enough. And maybe he's not getting enough separation from a lot of the number one corners in the league. So the idea is, okay, well, who else do we have that is fast on this team? And that is one thing that is lacking on this roster, is team speed at the wide receiver position. I'm going to take a look at that right now. So who could we possibly use? Well, B.J. Sullivan isn't any faster. Rashawn Battles, same speed but less acceleration, so he's not the answer. Donnell White, maybe. A little less speed, more acceleration, less agility. Obviously the catching rating's not there, but release might also play a factor, and nobody gets off the line better than Perry Wood. Another idea would be to throw Parrish McCarthy out there. With the best acceleration on the team, even though he's got a little bit lower speed, maybe that extra boost of getting to his top speed quicker will help get him that extra step. So he's thinking of putting the rookie Parrish McCarthy in at number one, sliding Perry Wood down to the number two position, and then also putting him in at the slot to let him use his height and strength and route running skills to create some mismatches against slot corners, who are, generally speaking, smaller corners anyway, and not usually the fastest guys. They're usually the little quick, agile guys, so maybe Perry Wood could beat up on some of them in the slot. The drawback is that I don't know how the targeting is going to work, how many times Kiefer Byrne's going to target him in those new slots in the wide receiver role. Because he's not targeting B.J. Sullivan as much, but B.J. Sullivan hasn't really given him a reason. And we hardly even throw to a third wide receiver because we just don't really have a great one. It's been Stackhouse, the receiving fullback, or receiving halfback, that has been basically our third wide receiver. So maybe it's a chance to get overall more production from the passing offense with sacrificing maybe some of Perry Wood's personal stats, which Hennessy doesn't really want to do, but it's all about the team, not the individual, right? So I'm going to do some practicing in an off-video way to try to see if this is even feasible. If it's not, well, then we'll keep things the same. The only other thing he thought of, in last episode, he was trying to put James Chris in the base defense against the run and keep Denario Blanton in the passing downs. And for whatever reason for the sub packages, James Chris didn't get on the field last game. So I've looked it over again and made sure James Chris is in the base package. So that is one thing we're going to try. The other thing that is going to happen is that right now Sean Stewart is the pass rushing left outside linebacker. And you see he doesn't have a lot of speed. He does have acceleration. He does have good block shedding and power moves. Well, not great block shedding, but good power moves. But he hasn't been getting to the quarterback. He has been a stout run defender. So the idea here is enunciate, Ben, enunciate, is to keep him in at base, and then to get a little more pass rush to put the rookie Vernon Hunt, who at 6'3", 312, has a lot more speed and acceleration than Sean Stewart. He also has good power moves. He's got a lot better block shedding. So the idea here is that maybe this better speed and better strength will be able to create more pressure off the edge. The drawback is if they call a defense that will require him to drop back into coverage, which as a rush end he probably shouldn't be doing anyway, but sometimes it happens, and that might be a problem with these ratings. So double-edged sword here. It's going to be a plug and play. What will happen at defensive tackle, though, because Vernon Hunt is the rush D-tackle, we're going to change that to Tracy Felton, who has shown already that he is a good interior rusher with his 86 power move and 73 block shed, and he's also got good enough tackling to be a D-tackle in that role. We'll take a look at his stats. He's already getting to the quarterback with 4.5 sacks. So that might be a way to help generate more pressure, because right now the main threat we have is Tanner Malone, and that's about it. There's a handful of guys with 4.5 sacks or 3 or 2, and we're just not making quarterbacks uncomfortable enough. So way to mix things up maybe and generate more pressure. So like I said, Hennessy's going to take this out on the practice field. I'm not going to record that. And we'll see how those experiments go, and maybe it will go into the game plan. His thoughts on the game. Well, we had to start a rookie right tackle at right guard, and he acquitted himself well. Now, the ground game didn't get going, but I don't think I share the opinion with Coach Hennessy that it wasn't on the rookie. We had a couple things happen where, first of all, give credit to the Huskies defense. They have a great defensive line. They move guys around to create mismatches, and that could confuse anybody. We had an injury to Kevin Crockett, the starting star center, so he missed some time, so we had a backup in there. And remember, even with Seth Costanzo in the game against the Huskies and Voyagers, Dalton Triplett still couldn't get it going. So he didn't let up any sacks, and overall, that's something else Hennessy wanted to address. Early on, while they were still trying to figure out the offensive line and what pieces go where, they were giving up a lot of sacks. There were about 22 within the first few games. Since then, we're going to take a look at the stats, and you'll see that they have been keeping Kiefer Byrne pretty clean. He's been sacked 25 times. And as I said, 23 of them, they all came earlier in the season, so he has not been getting taken to the turf. So credit to the offensive line there. Coach Hennessy is not real happy with the back-to-back losses. He felt both games were ones they could win. It was costly errors, maybe lack of focus. He's addressed that, and he's going to hope to right the ship against the 5 and 6 Vikings. They're coming to Sentinel Field. So we'll take a look at the Vikings a little bit more in depth next week. Next episode. Next week, I keep saying that. And I'll have the results as far as what I thought the changes in the playbook and the substitutions and how they worked out. And then after that, I'll make another episode for the next actual game against the Vikings. So I want to thank you for joining me. Please excuse my stammering and stuttering as I get used to doing this. I'm not used to speaking even just to myself here in a recording. It's not something I'm used to, something I think will get better with time and practice. So thank you. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you continue to have a great day. And we'll see you next time. We'll talk about the Vikings and how guys are panning out in their new roles. If they're even going to have new roles. Take care, everybody. As I have difficulty. Can you tell I'm new to this? You probably can't. Nah.